Very tragic incident in Los Angeles at a Burlington Coat Factory store, December 23rd, 2021. A gentleman walks in there, mental illness, gone off his rocker, gone off the deep end, acting bizarre, and then becomes physically violent to some patrons. Police get in there, they move in on him, try to take him into custody. Officer takes a couple shots at the suspect, hits him, kills him, but unfortunately one of those rounds goes through a dressing room door and kills an innocent 14-year-old girl. Absolutely tragic. What lessons from that incident can we apply to church safety, church security personnel? My name is John. I'm the president and founder of General Response. My team and I travel the country conducting very dynamic, realistic conflict de-escalation training seminars for churches, businesses, corporations, state agencies, law enforcement. Hit that like and subscribe button to be notified the next time I have an informational video. I take these incidences that I find in the media and the news, and I talk about how conflict de-escalation would have played a huge role in the outcome. In this particular case, though, I just want to talk about this incident, how it went down, and how we can actually apply some of the lessons here for church safety security, okay? When you watch the video, and as a matter of fact, I have a link to it down below, go over to Active Self-Protection with John Correa. Does a great job of talking about this incident. And when you watch the video, you'll see that this gentleman came in and for quite a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, was just acting bizarre, and no one ever came up to approach him, make contact with him, store security, nobody came up to greet him or anything. So one of the first things we can do different in a church environment is when you have an individual who shows up, male or female, young or old, and they start presenting some bizarre behavior, just some things that don't look right, DLR, that don't look right, that catches your attention, make an effort to get up there and make contact with them. Make contact with them with a big smile and a friendly greeting, because that will set the stage for how the rest of your contact goes. Because if they are dealing with something and you walk up on them and you have this very stern look on your face, or you have and use a very stern tone of voice and the words you use, you could actually escalate a situation. Ministry-minded church personnel, usher, greeter, security, someone go up to this individual and make contact with them, smile and give them a friendly greeting, ask them if there's anything you can do to help. Remember, folks, we're a church. Large number of people seeking God, dealing with issues, are going to present as a DLR, as someone who doesn't look right, by someone about the way they dress or just the way they behave and act. So once you come up and make contact with them, number one. Number two, you want to maintain a reactionary gap between you and that person. A reactionary gap gives you distance, which will give you options. A reactionary gap is a distance just a little bit beyond maximum arm's reach between you and this other person. You want to have that reactionary gap so in the event it starts to go sideways, they begin to assault you, you have that extra millionth of a second as they close that distance for your brain to process and accept, yes, this is actually happening, and now you have options. Either zig to the right, zag to the left, right? Also, that reactionary gap keeps you out of the range of their fists, to keep you from being hit in the face. So number two, maintain that reactionary gap. Number three, let's say you're interacting with them and it begins to start going sideways. They become violent or really bizarre. Break contact with them. Break contact with them and get the police coming. Okay, this is way beyond your pay grade. And I want to remind you, you are a civilian volunteer at a church. You're not being paid or equipped to handle and deal with situations like this. I strongly encourage you to break contact and call the police. They're the ones who are trained, equipped, and supported and backed up by state, local, and federal laws. Let them get them coming, all right? If you end up successfully and effectively de-escalating the situation and the person leaves on their own, you can always call off the police as they come roaring into the parking lot. Rather have you call them off as they come into the parking lot than for it to get really bad and now you got to call them and they have to fight traffic and all that to get to you, okay? So number one, make contact, smile, friendly greeting. Number two, maintain a reactionary gap for your safety and protection. Number three, if it starts to go sideways, their behavior is starting to get really crazy, or they actually start to become violent, extend that reactionary gap and just break contact with them. And now with the assistance of your colleagues and other volunteers and all that, because teamwork is important, maybe potentially consider isolating them in that area if possible, like clearing out other churchgoers and staff or volunteers out of that area, depending on the situation. But this is one of your options, depending on what the situation is. Break contact and maybe isolate them in that area right there, if possible. Be very, very hesitant. Be very hesitant to be drawing your weapon and going to using a lethal force tool unless you can absolutely articulate and show that somebody was in imminent danger of great bodily harm or death. And even then, what is one of the absolute etched in stone laws about gun safety? Make sure you have a safe backdrop. Unfortunately, it ended up very tragically for the LAPD officers involved in this incident. There are no guarantees, but that's something that you are going to always have to keep in mind. Number one, again, a civilian volunteer in a church, make sure that you can articulate and show that somebody was in imminent danger of great bodily harm or death before you draw your weapon. If you're going to draw your weapon, make sure you use it. And if you use it, make sure you have a safe backdrop. And finally, be taking long, slow, deep breaths to help keep yourself calm in a stressful situation. If you can get that long, slow, deep breaths will get oxygen to your brain. And I've said this before, you get oxygen to your brain, it'll help you think under stress. And if you can think under stress, you mitigate the possibility of you saying or doing something that could escalate a situation. So those are just a couple things that we can draw from this incident and apply it to a church safety security environment, right? Slow down. Make contact. Slow down as in don't be rushing into a situation till you assess the situation and the person before you. Observe them. What are they doing? What are they up to? Make contact with them. Big smile on your face, friendly greeting, maintain a reactionary gap. If things begin to start going sideways, back away, get the police coming. Be very, very hesitant and slow to be reaching for a lethal force tool unless you can show and articulate and demonstrate that somebody, again, was in imminent danger of great bodily harm or death. And take those long, slow, deep breaths. Keep yourself calm. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video.